a quick tip that I highly recommend is to just start by taking an inventory of all the different sharing functionality that your e-commerce store has and compare it to our list and just make sure that you have everything, right? So what we've seen is some of the best stores out there have the stuff that we've been talking about today, right? They've got the wish list functionality, right? They've got some place where people can send their friend coupons. They've got a double-sided referral program, right? They've got sharing links on their product pages.
Hello and welcome to the eCommerce podcast. We believe that there is more than enough content focused on e-commerce marketing and not enough content celebrating the real heroes of e-commerce, those running the operation. Each week, we find and interview an e-commerce operations expert to share the secrets behind how some of this industry's most exciting businesses are run. I'm your host, Norbert Strappler, the CEO of SyncSpider.
Hello and welcome to another eCommerce podcast interview today. Jay Gibb is my guest from CloudSponge, a really great tool. And they state on the website, double your word of mouth sales. Welcome, Jay. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on, Norbert?
Yeah, all good here, all good. And from your end, everything fine?
Very good, thank you.
Awesome. Hey, Jay, you have a very great tool. Tell us a bit more about yourself and your tool.
So my background is in engineering. I was a software developer out of college 20 years ago.
Very long time. A dinosaur in web development or in development, right?
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, it feels like it's been a pretty long journey.
Believe that.
I took kind of more of an entrepreneurial track pretty early in my career, and just building businesses. And at some point, my team and I decided to put together CloudSponge, which is a tool for e-commerce stores to help double or triple word of mouth sales. That's been around for about 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So we actually started this company. Again, like kind of with the classic scratch your own itch kind of sort of origin story. And at the time, what we were building was we needed a way for what we were building at the time. We needed a way for users of like web browser users, internet users, to be able to upload their address books. So that by that I mean back then that was like Outlook for desktop and Hotmail and MSN and Windows Live and Gmail and AOL and Yahoo and all the different places where people, regular consumers, might store their address books. We built an app, like an API and a backend integration layer with all those different places so that we could, ingest those address books and normalize them all to look the same and then make them available on a website, right? And as we were doing that, we just noticed there was a ton of other people doing it. There was a lot of other developers that were solving a similar problem. And so we decided to sort of mothball the project that we were working on and just basically sell that as a software solution to e-commerce stores and other companies that were trying to build something similar, right? And then from there, we kind of figured out why do people want this and why are they building it and what are the use cases for it. And then now 10 years later, we're focused on, leveraging that functionality for e-commerce referral programs and wish lists and coupon sending and product sharing and all kinds of other stuff that e-commerce stores need and use people's address books for.
And who is your customer? Is it the e-commerce store owner? Is it a platform? Is it a SaaS provider, like a referral program provider? Who is your customer?
Our customer, when we do a direct relationship, our customer is the e-commerce store owner, or the development team or product team that handles their technology, right? In some cases, we have a more indirect relationship with them through a partner. So we have, where we'll actually get paid from like a referral program platform, for example, and we are sort of 1 degree of or 2 degrees of separation from the actual store. But we, like I say, we've been around for 10 years, so we kind of have a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I can imagine that. Bootstrapped?
Yeah, self-funded.
Yeah, cool. So let's assume I'm an e-commerce store owner and I want to implement a referral program. Yeah. So what I understood is I can go to your tool, yeah, and I can use your tool to make it available for my buyers, for my customers in my store, that they can connect their address book, what they have, and send out a mass notification to their friends about the great e-commerce store using this referral program that is using the address data, and can benefit from that as a buyer, and the shop owner benefits from that you have all the contacts already, that you spread away your great products.
Yeah, that's right. I think, and that would be for a use case where you're an e-commerce store owner who is building your own referral program, right? Like if you're engineering, and this is many e-commerce stores do that. The ones that have engineering teams and want to really have a custom experience.
Yeah, especially the bigger ones, right?
Yeah, all the biggest ones, they'll build that stuff, and they'll build the functionality for sending those emails and tracking the referrals and handling fraud and all that kind of stuff. And we're a really important ingredient in the overall recipe to be able to make it so that people don't have to type email addresses. That's really the friction point that we focus on, is the fact that people, when you ask them to type their friend's email address, they won't do it, or maybe they'll do one. Right.
Yeah, but not 10 or 20.
Yeah, no,
or even more.
If they're on a mobile device, like if they're on like an iPhone or an Android phone, like good luck getting somebody to type in multiple comma-separated lists of email addresses. They're just not going to do it, right?
Yep.
And then it's even more of an impact for e-commerce stores that have wish lists or like gift registries, right? Like if you've got a bride to be who's about to they put together a big long registry of a couple hundred different products that they want their guests to buy for them. Getting that person to give you email addresses for their entire guest list, like you have to have their address book, right? Most stores that before they discover CloudSponge and better sharing, they'll basically like do that manually or through a customer service experience, or they'll send the person a blank Excel file and tell them to fill it in and send it back or something like that. But the best stores will use CloudSponge to basically just give that bride access to her address book right there in their website, so that she doesn't have to leave or do anything different, and just select as many people as she wants without having to actually type anything manually.
Yeah, this is really a very good use case, actually. And I think I can't even imagine that someone does it does it differently. Yeah, because I can imagine that when you need to put together a list of people, first of all, you will forget a lot of people that you could invite. And then when you have already the list visible and you just make check boxes around those people that you want to have on the list, it's much more easy. Yeah. So this is really, really great use case. How did you get into e-commerce anyways? Why e-commerce? How did you get there?
Just by following the opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So we started off as a sort of a generic tool that, and this is 10 years ago, but I'm telling you back to the origin story, right? We started off kind of with this thing that obviously had value to a lot of people, and we were selling it. And then all of us, we just kept talking to our customers all the time and seeing like, who are you? What business are you in? What are you doing? Why are you buying this from me? Right? This is just good entrepreneurship, right? You want to kind of understand your customers so you can find more people like them, right? And yeah, there's actually a great spectrum. There's quite a lot of different customers in different industries and different types. We have a lot of companies like social networks, for the find your friends kind of use, right? We have a lot of e-card and event invitation companies for, sending out holiday cards and party invitations and things like that. But what the pattern that emerged was we ended up seeing that the customers that had basically like direct monetary impact from our product. In other words, it's not just a nice to have feature that makes their user experience a little bit better. It's actually something that like directly ties to their revenue, right? Mm-hmm. Because they see this and they see, oh, cool, like my customer acquisition cost for my referral program is X, and they want to optimize that. And then they go find CloudSponge and they realize, oh, wow, like if I add CloudSponge to this thing, it's X divided by 2. Right now, like everybody who wants to refer already, everybody who's sending those referrals, now those people send 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times as many referrals because we made it easier, and that has a direct impact on their bottom line. So that's why we. That's
awesome. It's like referral on steroids, huh?
Yeah, well, that's why we say we double your word of mouth, right? Because we're not actually like selling the referral program part, right? We're like a accelerator for your whatever is already working for your business in the category of word of mouth. We'll double it for you.
And what does it mean for me to implement your tools? So what technical effort do I need, or how does it work to get that party started?
So it's really just a JavaScript plugin. Right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, you could just, if you've got anybody who's got a form field on their site already, either something they've put on there themselves, or that's coming from a third-party referral program system or a wish list plugin or whatever, right? You can take our JavaScript, put it on your website, and you just point it at that field. You just say, this is the field that I want email addresses to go into, right? Mm-hmm. And then you put a button wherever you want it, and you make the button look however you want for your user to open their address book, right? So you put a button somewhere. Usually it looks like a little address book icon, or it's a button label that says like add from address book, or some people actually put like the Gmail logo directly on the page, or the Gmail, Outlook, Yahoo, AOL, whatever logos are useful for their market, right? They'll put those on the page. It depends on how you want it to look. You have full control over that user experience. But then when your user engages with it and they click on it, they get our experience. It pops up. It says, "Hey, give us permission to read your contacts from Google or whatever." And once they do that, they see the alphabetized list of all their contacts. They can select everybody that they want and hit next. When they do that, the HTML field that you pointed it to just gets filled up with a comma-separated list of email addresses, right? So,
what a smooth idea. That really is easy. Very, very easy. And how do you charge your customers? How do you earn money?
So we charge monthly. So it's just a monthly fee. It's unlimited usage. So for our lowest plan is $50 a month. And for that, you get everything. You get the contact picker, right? And then we have a premium plan that's more expensive, that is for the e-commerce stores that have they want their own brand. They basically want to white label our product so that it looks like they built it, and remove the logo and change all the fonts and colors and text. And
I can imagine that. Yeah.
So that one is, we call that the branded plan, and it's more expensive. And then we have basically custom enterprise plans for giant organizations that, they want to have like SLAs and special contracts.
Yeah.
And whatever else they need, we've got like an enterprise department that can handle negotiating stuff like that.
Awesome. Wow. Very interesting. So I know that we have a lot of listeners also from Europe. How do you deal with European customers? Is this GDPR compliant, or is this something that is only available in the US and then states without GDPR?
It is GDPR compliant, and we do have the necessary literature on the website, on the cloudsponge.com website, for anybody that wants to really dig into that. So the simple way to think about it is that we're a data processor. So our e-commerce stores consider us a data processor. And we don't save anything is the key thing. So we are a transient sort of middleman between your customer and your website, which is a tool that they use. We don't, everything just kind of stays in memory, in RAM, right, on our servers. So we do the work to get the data from the customer's address book, right? We bring it into our interface, and they interact with their own contacts in your interface. And when they're done, everything is obliterated. The only thing that's kept by CloudSponge's servers is like a log file of like the fact that it happened and some stuff that we can use for optimizing the user experience, like how long did it take to get the Google address book for this user and things like that. So it's just really just like a row of metadata about that API usage. But the actual sensitive data is never stored anywhere. You can't like log into your CloudSponge account and go look at it or use it. It's not there. It's really just something that it was a service that was provided to the person who owns the address book, right? And you as an e-commerce store owner, you don't even get the address book. What you get is the contacts that they deliberately, explicitly chose to give to you, right? By agreeing.
Oh, wow.
Agreeing terms, right?
So this is really a great service, and I think I see a lot of opportunities there for any kind of store owner who is out there and has a referral program already with a field where users can invite their friends, and so they just have really they just need a place where to put some JavaScript and point to an HTML field, as I understood. So it's really damn easy if you have a well-established e-commerce store, a small development team. You can easily do that. Wow. Now, what I often ask, and what our users are really, our listeners are really loving, some quick tips. Do you have any quick tips? What could I do as an e-commerce store owner to improve my sales? What have you learned from your customers?
Yeah, so I've a great answer to that, actually, which is we have a workbook for that. That answers that question. We've collected, all of one of the things that we do to be good at our business is we pay attention to what our customers are doing, and we sort of learn from them and try to deliver that knowledge on our blog and on our website. One of the examples of a quick tip that I highly recommend is to just start by taking an inventory of all the different sharing functionality that your e-commerce store has and compare it to our list and just make sure that you have everything, right? So what we've seen is some of the best stores out there have the stuff that we've been talking about today, right? They've got the wish list functionality, right? They've got some place where people can send their friend coupons. They've got a double-sided referral program, right? They've got sharing links on their product pages, right? And not every e-commerce store has those things, right? And I think for me, that's the top of the funnel. That's the first place to go and say, look, like, am I really giving my users all of the options to share these products and the existence of my store with people in whatever way that makes sense to them, right? Instead of prescribing one path, it's good to just provide all the paths because everybody's different in terms of what they're actually looking for, right?
Yeah.
And so like that's the first obvious quick tip. That's basically we have a workbook on our website that's free that people can get just with an email address.
And it's really easy to go there. Just go to cloudsponge.com. And when you're on the homepage of the website, just scroll a bit down and you see the beta sharing workbook. And I think this is it, right?
Yeah, I'll do better though. We'll make a link for your audience, right? So
perfect. Yeah.
cloudsponge.com/ecomops. And we'll just take them to the right spot for that.
Perfect. And guys, there are really great references on the website as well. So working for Reebok, Timberland, Harley Davidson, Gillette. So there is quite some big brands there. And I'm really, really glad that it's a software that starts at $50 per month, which is a good starting point for an e-commerce store, because typically such tools really can cost a lot of money if you implement it yourself, or if you develop that or go via API or something like that. This JavaScript part sounds very, very easy and reasonable to implement. So if you have something, this is really a good starting point for any e-commerce store to get that party started with word of mouth sales. Okay, thank you very much, Jay. It was really a pleasure talking to you, and great tool. If you have anything else to add, what you would recommend for our users, just shoot it. And yeah, other than that,
great. Well, thanks for having me, Norbert.
Absolutely. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
And that's it for this episode of the eCom Ops podcast. If you enjoyed listening and would like us to find and interview more e-commerce operations experts, please search for eCom Ops podcast in your favorite podcast listening app, and then subscribe, rate, and review. Until next time.